Okay, so today's flow class, we'll start with a block. If you don't have one, maybe grab something like a pillow, blanket, something to get underneath you. We'll start in supported bridge. And if you don't have anything, then just keep the hips down on the mat and that's fine. So come on down onto your back. If you have a block, just set it down next to the hips. You won't use it right away. Rest the head down. Bring the arms down by the sides. Close the eyes, start to come to your breath. And hands could be on the body if that feels better. Take a deep breath in through the nose, back out through the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale back out through the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale back out through the mouth. This time, another deep breath in through the nose, but hold it at the very top. Exhale back out through the nose. Ujjayi breath in through the nose. Back out through the nose. 2 more breaths on your own, just like this. Try to continue on with this breath, coming back to it as many times as you remember. Walk the feet in if they're far out in front of you. Line up the heels underneath the knees. Bring the arms down by the sides. Press into the feet. Lift the hips up halfway. Take a block, slide it underneath the hips. Keep it low. So maybe the lowest height would be a great place to start with this. And then you might need to lift and lift the chest up. Get the shoulder blades underneath you. So you're in a low supported bridge. Hips are resting on the block, so you don't need to hold them at all. Still going with your Ujjayi breath, noticing the difference with just a slight elevation in the hips. And if you have that block on the lowest height, press into the feet, lift the hips up, take the block to the medium height, set the hips back down. Maybe you can lift and spread the chest a little bit more. If it feels like it's too high too soon, then lower back down. And if you're not using a block, hips are still down on the mat. You can skip the bridge. It's totally fine. We're all focusing on our breath, being still. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, bring the block back down to the lowest height. If you went up to the medium height, rest the hips down. Maybe walk the feet out in front of you if it doesn't feel like it's too deep. So legs are extended out in front of you, chest is still lifted. And now you're getting a nice opening on the top side of the hips, the pelvis area. Lower back is long because you're pointing the tail toward the heels. Start to walk the feet back in, coming back to your supported bridge. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, set the block off to the side, bringing the hips back down to the mat, feeling the difference. Hug the right knee in toward the chest, give your lower back some space. And switch sides. Right foot comes down, left knee comes in. Bring that left knee out to the left, bring the right knee out to the right, hook the feet. You can hang onto the knees, you can rock side to side. Hook the feet the other way, other foot on top. Set the feet back down onto the mat. Interlace the fingers back behind the head. Rest the head in the hands. Lift the feet up in line with the knees and then move the knees away from you a little bit so they're right over the hips, just until you feel the abdomen start to catch. Inner thighs are squeezing together. Look up, take an inhale. On the exhale, lift the chest and the upper body up and away from the mat. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up, just to bring some heat in the core. Inhale back. Exhale up. Stay up. Twist to the right. Extend the left leg forward. Come back to center. Twist to the left. Back to center. Slow bicycles. Twist to the right. Back to center. Over to the left. Bring it back together on your inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. 2 more each side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Last round. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist. Hug the knees in toward the chest. Rest the head down on the mat. And then set the feet down onto the mat. Roll over to your right side. Use the left hand to bring yourself up. If you're using that block, slide it forward toward the top of the mat so it's available for the rest of your practice if you need it. Come forward to hands and knees. Once you get to hands and knees, step the left toes back behind you. Make sure the shoulders are stacked right over the wrist and the fingers are spread evenly. Spin that left heel down flat. Kick this right foot out to the right. So it's coming off of the mat. Keeping the toes tucked is probably a good idea. Right hand can also go out to the right. Reach the left arm up and you're coming into a modified side plank. Let's keep the left foot down on the mat. Turn that left palm to face forward. Reach the left arm up and over the ear. So we want to feel a stretch on that left side of the body. See how long you can get there. So you're driving down through that left foot, up and over with the left arm at the same time. Couple breaths here. Now, keep the upper body, start to lift that left leg up just to hip height. Make sure those left toes are pointing straight forward. Sometimes they want to go up toward the ceiling. Take an inhale, get long. On the exhale, elbow to knee. Go slow, play around with the movement. Left elbow, left knee come together. You'll feel the obliques. And then inhale, extend. Come back to where you were. 2 more times with that, slow and controlled. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Keep the left leg where it is. Reach back with the left arm. So you feel that space in the left side of the neck. Point the left toes, bend the left leg, see if you can grab the foot. And then if you grab the foot, reach the chest forward and the left quad back, core hugging in. So you're opening up that left shoulder, getting a stretch in the front side of the body. Gently release that left leg, reach the left arm up to the sky. Left hand comes down to the mat, come back to tabletop, all fours. And then just take an inhale and an exhale and tabletop. Right toe step back behind you, spin that right heel down flat. You need to walk it in a little bit. You don't want it too far forward. Kick the left toes back behind you off of the mat. Left hand can reach out to the side, right arm reaches up. So you make a wider base so that you can have a little bit more room to play around with where we're headed, which you know where that is. Turn the right palm to face forward, reach the right arm up and over the ear. Keep the right foot down. Get as long as you can in the right side body. Just feel a nice opening here. Start to lift the right leg up, toes pointing straight forward. Inhale for length. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Keep the right leg where it is. Reach back with the right arm. Point the right toes. Bend the right leg. See if you can connect the foot and the hand. Reach the heart forward. Belly hugging in a little bit. Right quad stretching back behind you. With control, release the clasp of the right foot. Right arm comes back up to the sky. Right hand down to the mat. Back to tabletop. And then once you get to tabletop, bring the forearms down to the mat. Step the feet back behind you. Come into Sphinx pose. Set the hips down. Reach the heart forward. Tops of the feet down to the mat. Look down the bridge of the nose. Quite a bit of back bending to start. Look down at the mat, tuck the toes underneath you, fire up the legs, core, lift the hips, forearm plank. One hand at a time, plank pose. Bring the knees down to the mat, big toes together, sit the hips back, child's pose. Arms out in front of you if your shoulders are okay with that. Bring the hips back to the heels as much as the knees will allow. You want them to be quiet, so that might mean that the knees stay or the hips stay lifted. And just a reminder, you can always take child's pose whenever you want. So don't feel like you need to be cued. Whenever it sounds like a good idea, it probably is. Look forward at the hands, take downward facing dog, shift forward onto the knees, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. So maybe you pedal out the feet here. Maybe you lift the heels up high and move the hips side to side. We all have our own ritual in our first downward facing dog, or maybe you're still figuring out what yours is. But typically, movement is kind of nice for most of us. It's such a big pose. So we want to take our time going deeper and deeper into it. Good. Look forward at the hands. Lift the right leg up and back. Step the right foot outside of the right hand. So wide lizard lunge. Back knee can come down. Chest lifts. So you don't want to bring the chest down. Keep it lifted so that upper back stays long and not rounded. Up to you if the back toes are tucked or untucked. We're just trying to get into this right hip and be gentle with it. Bring the right hand to the right hip. So you're opening up the chest to the right, feeling a twist in the spine. Stay here or bend the back leg, reach back, see if you can grab the foot. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. If you can't make that connection, just skip it. It doesn't make sense to keep bringing the foot in if you can't hang on to it. You can just keep the right hand on the right hip. Otherwise, you'll just get a cramp and then that doesn't feel good. Gently release the foot if you have it. Right hand inside the right foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Look forward toward the hands. Left foot outside of the left hand. Wide lizard lunge, chest is lifted. Start to set the back knee down gently. Maybe rest the top of the foot down. Left hand, left hip, open the chest to the left. Feel that twist in the spine, chest opening to the side. Bend the back knee, reach back, see if you can easily grab the foot. If not, skip it, come back to it later. Release that back foot, left hand inside the left foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Heels reaching down toward the mat, hips lifting, as much of a bend in the legs as you'd like. Bend the knees, look forward, walk the feet up to the hands. Several steps. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last one like this. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bring the hands down in front of you. Widen the feet to the outer edges of the mat. You can keep a bend in the knees if you want to. Fold down over the legs, either clasping opposite elbows or interlacing the fingers behind the back. Sometimes this is too soon, depending on how tight your shoulders are. So if it feels like it's too soon, then just clasp opposite elbows. Give your shoulders more time to open and warm up. Then try not to rock heavy on the heels. Get yourself a little heavier in the balls of the feet, and you'll feel a deeper opening in the backside of the legs, no matter where the bend is. Interlace the fingers, one finger over, or clasp opposite elbows the other way. Lengthen the sides of the neck. Hands come back down in front of you, heel toe the feet back to hip width distance. Bring the hands to the hips, put a little bend in the knees, press into the feet to rise all the way back up to standing. Once you get there, circle the arms all the way up on your inhale. On the exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga, up dog if you're ready. We've done a lot of back bending, but stick with cobra if that's better. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top, step, walk, get the feet up to the hands, nice and light. Try not to make a sound. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Surya A, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, bend the knees, step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend the knees, look to the top, maybe lightly hop, step, walk, whichever option's making the most sense. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms up on the inhale. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart on the exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, back to plank pose, shift forward onto the toes, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. One more cycle. Bend the knees, look to the top, step, walk, hop, feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms up on the inhale. Hands come together, down in front of the heart on the exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands down, walk the feet back, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back, three-legged down dog. Step the right foot through between the hands. Spin the right heel down flat, coming up into warrior two. Dig down into the front heel, outer edge of the back foot. Try to lift the chest and lower the legs. Reverse warrior. Flip the front palm, reach up and back. Keep the shape of the legs. You're coming forward for extended side angle. So you could do right forearm, right thigh, left arm up and over. Or if the hip feels open enough, right hand can go outside the foot, maybe on a block. Look down at the mat, hands to the mat, onto the ball, the back foot, step back, down dog, with or without a vinyasa. You have time. Left leg reaches up and back. Step the left foot all the way through, up between the hands. Spin the right heel down, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Lift the belly a little bit, lengthen the tail. Flip the front palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Try to keep that left kneecap in line with the second and third toe. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh, right arm up and over, or left hand down outside the foot. Listen to that left hip and the spine. So you don't want to take away space there either. Back leg is still working. You're driving it down through the mat. Look down at the mat, hands to the mat, back to downward facing dog. Stay or flow through a vinyasa. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, bring the feet up to the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Take chair pose on your next inhale. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Continue on with your Ujjayi breath. Keep the chest lifted. The hips come down a little bit lower. Toes are light. Belly hugs in. All the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. So as you press the hands together, think about the outer thigh and the inner thigh pressing together, like the palms of the hands. Keep that. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. So outer thigh, inner thigh pressing together, working together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, make your way back, downward facing dog. Time for a vinyasa if you'd like one. Plenty of time to skip them and do them later too. Right foot steps up between the hands. Warrior one, hop the back foot in, reach the arms forward and up. We're staying in this one for a few breaths, so take your time with it. Square the hips, Lift the chest. If you're feeling pretty good, gaze can lift too. But here's where you can play with the back bend. Your back's warm. We've done several back bends. So maybe you keep lifting that heart up, keeping the legs rooted. One more inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Make your way back, downward facing dog. Left foot steps up, Virabhadrasana 1. Take your time, make sure both heels are down on the mat. Arms reach forward, rise up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Back to down dog. Few breaths in downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, bring the feet up to the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on your inhale, inner thigh, outer thigh pressing together. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Another Surya B, bend the knees, sit back, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, back to plank pose, vinyasa or down dog. Right foot up between the hands. Inhale brings you up, warrior 1. It's a long inhale. Exhale, hands come back down to the mat, step back to plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Left foot up, spin the right heel down, inhale up, warrior 1. And exhale, hands down to the mat, back to plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend, back to down dog. Bend the knees, look to the top, get the feet up to the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on your inhale. All the way up to standing on the exhale. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. One last cycle. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down to the mat, back to plank. Lower down if you want the vinyasa. On the way back to downward facing dog. Right foot steps up between the hands. Your inhale brings you up, Vira 1. And exhale, hands down to the mat. This is all the same exhale, plank, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend, you stay. It's a longer breath. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Left foot up, warrior 1. And exhale, hands down, plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend. Back to down dog. Few breaths in downward facing dog. Or child's pose if you want a bigger break. Right leg lifts up and back, 3-legged down dog. Step the right foot up between the hands. Take warrior 1 again. Hop the back foot in, reach the arms forward and up. Interlace the fingers behind the back. If that's not happening today, you can just keep the palms pressing together. Fold forward, humble warrior. Try to send that right sit bone straight back instead of out to the right, and then keep the lunge in the front knee. Back up, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Flip the front palm, straighten the front leg, reach up and back, reverse triangle. So front leg is straight, open up that right side of the body. Send the right knee straight forward, extended side angle. Cartwheel the hands down, maybe the right hand down next to the foot, left arm up and over. Hands come back down to the mat, make your way back, downward facing dog. Left leg up, three-legged down dog. Step the left foot all the way through, hop that back foot in, warrior one. This time we interlace the fingers one finger over, so the unusual way. Point the knuckles back, start to fold forward, humble warrior. Back up, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Flip the front palm, straighten the front leg, reach up and back, reverse triangle. Send that left knee straight forward, reverse warrior. Cartwheel the hands, left hand down, maybe outside the foot, right arm up and over. Blocks are always welcome whenever you want to use them. Hands down to the mat any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Okay, a little different this time. Right leg lifts up and back. Look forward at the hands. Right foot outside of the right hand. So back to that wide lizard lunge. This time you can keep the back knee lifted. We're trying to open up that right hip a little deeper. Chest can stay lifted. Now set the back knee down gently, maybe untuck the toes, reach back to the right hip, open the chest to the right, just like we did at the beginning. Then maybe bend that back knee, reach back, see if the foot's there. Some of you might be able to bring the left forearm down to the mat. Only if that sounds like that's what you really need. Try to bring that foot in a little closer so you're bending the elbow. Gently start to release. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Inside the right foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Same thing, other side, left leg lifts up and back, left foot outside of the left hand. Keep the back knee up, reach the heart forward, look forward. It's kind of nice after some movement to get into the hips a little bit deeper, and then we can play and see where we end up. Right knee comes down to the mat. Maybe untuck the toes, left hand, left hip, open the chest to the left. Stay here or bend the back knee, reach back, see if you can grab the foot. Maybe bring it in a little closer, bending the elbow. Gently release, left hand inside the left foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. This time, right foot, lift the right leg up and back, three-legged down dog. Step the right foot up between the hands, back to warrior one, hop the back foot in, reach the arms forward and up. Still squaring the hips, find that back bend. Interlace the fingers behind the back, stretch the knuckles back, humble warrior. Inhale, back up, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Flip the front palm up, straighten the front leg, reach up and back, reverse triangle. Inhale forward to reverse warrior. So you just send that right knee straight forward. Then cartwheel the hands, right hand outside of the right foot. Let's reach the left arm straight up to the sky. So not up and over the ear, but just side angle pose. Then look down at the right foot. Reach the right hand ahead of the right pinky toes. A block could be really nice to lift the hand up on. Maybe you hop the back foot in a couple of times and then lift the left leg up. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Left arm reaches up and over the ear. Get long in the left side of the body. Keep that outer right hip hugging in. Take an inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee. Just play with your balance here. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Set that left foot way back, reverse warrior. Right arm reaches up and back. Windmill the hands down to the mat, down to downward facing dog. Take a vinyasa, go straight there. Left leg reaches up and back. Step the left foot all the way through, warrior one. Interlace the fingers, one finger over, humble warrior. Back up, warrior one. Warrior two. Flip the front palm up, straighten the front leg, reach up and back, reverse triangle. Send the left knee straight forward, reverse warrior. Then bring the left hand down outside the foot. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Look down at the left foot. Start to reach forward ahead of the left pinky toe about a foot. Shift forward, half moon. So take some hops or just start to lift the right leg up. Point that left sit bone straight back. Lift that outer right heel up as high as you can. Then reach the right arm up and over the ear. Inhale for length. Exhale, elbow to knee. So just keep as much control as you can. You don't need to go that deep. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Last one. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. We're taking it back to reverse warrior. Bend the standing leg, reach back with that right foot. Left arm reaches up and back. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Right leg reaches up and back. Step the right foot up between the hands, back to warrior one. Just open it up, take it to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. You can heel toe the back foot in a little bit for a triangle. Hip shift back, right arm reaches forward, bring the right hand down, left arm up. Trikonasana. Turn that left palm to face behind you. Wrap the left arm behind the back, coming into a half bind. Maybe the right palm starts to float forward, palm up, opening up the chest to the sky at the same time. Take this to reverse warrior, half bind if you want it. Cartwheel the hands, right hand down outside the right foot, left arm up to the sky. Look down at the right foot, half moon. With or without the block, reach that right hand forward. Maybe it's one big step up into the pose. This time, left arm reaches back behind you. Point the left toes, bend the left leg, Chapasana. See if you can connect the foot and the hand. If you do, chest reaches forward, left thigh reaches back. Right sit bone still pointing straight back. That right hand's light and it can be lifted up on a block. If you have the foot, gently release, half moon. Back to reverse warrior, bend the standing leg, right arm up and back. Hands down to the mat, making your way back, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Step the left foot all the way through, warrior one to start. Straight to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Shorter stance if you want, triangle. Right palm turns to face behind you, right arm behind the back. Fire up the legs, reach the left arm forward, palm up. Open up the chest. Reverse warrior. Bend the left knee, option to keep the half bind. Cartwheel the hands to side angle pose. Left hand outside the foot, right arm reaches up. Look down at the left foot. Reach forward. You need to shift forward onto the ball of the back foot. Left hand ahead of the left pinky toes. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Reach back with the right arm, point the right toes, bend the right leg. See if you can connect the foot and the hand. If you get it, bring that foot in, reach the heart forward at the same time, left sit back so you can keep that space in the sacral area. Release the right foot, reverse warrior. Take your time, reach back with the right foot, land without a splash. Left arm reaches up and back. And exit. Hands come down to the mat. Make your way back, downward facing dog with or without a vinyasa. Right leg reaches up and back. Listen up. Single pigeon. Bring the right shin forward, up against the forearms or just up in that direction. Left knee points back. Keep the chest up for this one. So let's just get the hips open. Squeeze those outer hips together. And that'll help level off the hips. Okay, this right foot, the front foot, you can bring that back. So you want an angle, the left foot, the left heel's back by the left hip. So if you're able to get it all the way up toward that wrist, bring it back. Right hand stays right in front of the shoulder. Bend the left leg, the back leg. See if you can reach back and grab the foot. So you're opening the chest to the left. And if it's not happening, same thing as before, skip it. Squeeze those outer hips together, lift the chest up higher. You can use the fingertips underneath you to lift the chest up higher. If you have a deep bend in that left elbow, you can go deeper. So maybe you bring the foot into the crook of the elbow. We're all taking this in stages. If that's happening, right arm can lift up, chest lifts up. Maybe you bend the right arm and then connect the hands. So king pigeon, we did all those pigeons last week. This is the one we didn't do. We needed a whole class to get to it though. So that's why we're doing it now. All right, right arm reaches up, bring the right hand down, set the foot down with the hand. So just let it go back and then start to face forward. Now take your single pigeon, just fold forward over the right leg. If it feels better to bring that right foot farther forward, you can, but it's fine where it is too. Just try to square off the hips. So outer hips hug in helps with that. Blocks are great. Underneath the chest, head, right hip if it's lifted. Okay, come back up. We've had the legs like this for quite a while. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog, pedal out the feet or start to move that right leg around. You can take big circles with the right knee, that hips open, that might feel nice. If you take the circles, go the opposite direction, keeping it even. Making your way back to downward facing dog. This time, left leg reaches up and back. Send that left shin forward. Come into single pigeon on this side. Keep the chest lifted. So you can crawl that right knee back. You can lift the fingertips. You can come up onto the fingertips to keep the chest lifted. We want this left foot back. So heel over by that right hip. Left hand underneath the left shoulder. You could even use a block underneath the left hand. That'll get the chest up higher so you don't have to reach back as far. And then open the chest to the right. Bend that right leg. See if you can grab the foot. You're grabbing the inner edge of the foot if you can reach it. Bring it in, chest is lifted. If you have a deep bend in the elbow, then you can start to bring the foot into the crook of the elbow. Left arm reaches up, outer hips hug in, chest lifts up. Maybe the hands connect behind the head. They don't have to. All different stages. It's always a nice way to figure out what stage are you in now, so you can see next time you come into it, the progress that you've made. Left arm reaches up, set it back down. Gently set the right foot back down. Come forward, single pigeon. So just fold over the legs straight out of king pigeon. So it's a nice transition. Let the head come down, rest on something. So for king pigeon, the hips need to be open. You need to have some back bending already there. And then the shoulders need to be open to reach back and grab that foot. So it's definitely a deeper pose, one that requires a lot of prep. Okay, come back up onto the hands. Let's make our way back, downward facing dog. Feel free to move that left leg around, either pedaling out the feet or taking those knee circles. Getting the circulation back. Go the other direction if you're doing circles. Downward facing dog, knees down to the mat, bring the feet over to one side, come to seated, legs out in front of you. Then reach the arms all the way up, fold over the legs, Paschimottanasana. So the backside of the legs wants some length. Keep the heart reaching forward, but you can let the head and the neck go. Slowly come back up to seated. Let's bring the sole of the right foot to the mat, cross the right foot over the left leg. And then from here, grab onto the outer right ankle bone, move the foot out to the side. So you can stay like this in half Gomukhasana. If you want to lean over to the left and bend the bottom leg, you can do that too, stacking the knees. And you'll fold forward over the legs. We started out class with a lot of back bend, so we're doing some extra hip opening at the end. Come back up to seated. Keep the legs, just lift the chest. Open the chest to the right. You can just bring that left forearm on top of the top thigh, the right thigh, and come into your twist this way. Make sure you can feel both sit bones on the mat. Bring the chest back to center, lean over to the left, bottom leg extends, then the top leg. Hands back behind you. Take windshield wipers after that one. Feet wide to the outer edges of the mat, knees side to side. Okay, coming back to seated with the legs out in front of you. This time, left foot comes to the mat. Step the left foot over the right leg. Grab onto that foot, move it out to the right. Shift over to the right hip. See if the bottom leg is comfortable bending. It can stay straight. If it's not, get even on the sit bones. Fold forward over the legs. Come back up to seated, leave the legs, open the chest to the left, right forearm on this top thigh. Try not to jam it in there, just use it to sit up taller, and then the upper abdomen chest area helps you revolve into the twist. Bring the chest and gaze back forward, unwind the bottom leg, then the top leg, hands back behind you, feet wide, windshield wipers. And you'll come back to center, come on down onto your back, soles of the feet still on the mat. Once you come down onto your back, extend the legs out in front of you. You want them a little wider than hip width distance. Then reach the arms overhead, find a stretch, clasp opposite elbows overhead, and just let the arms rest on the mat overhead. Take the right foot, cross it on top of the left foot. So the legs are straight and the ankles and feet are hooked. And then lift the upper body up and over to the left, just slightly. You still want to be able to get both shoulder blades and the back of the head on the mat. So coming into banana, last side body opening and the shoulder opening too. Lift the upper body back up, bring it back to center, uncross the feet, reach the arms overhead, find your stretch again, clasp opposite elbows the other way, let the arms rest, left foot on top of right foot, legs are long, lift the upper body up, over to the right, set it all back down, back of the head's resting, both shoulder blades easily touching the mat, both hips on the mat. That left side's lifting, then you need to bring the right foot more toward the center of the mat. Lift the upper body and head up, bring it back to center, uncross the feet, come back to hip width or wider than hip width distance with the feet, toes turn out. Reach the arms overhead, get long, take a big inhale. Exhale the arms down by the sides, palms face up, backs of the hands rest. Maybe lift the chest up to get the shoulder blades underneath you. Hips are heavy. Heels of the feet are heavy. Start to fall into Shavasana, letting go of the breath control. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Stretch the arms overhead. Walk the feet in, bend the knees. Roll over to your right side, cradle the head on the arm, keep the eyes closed. Just lie here for a moment. Take a couple of breaths. Use the left hand. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Sit up tall because you can. Bring the hands together in front of you. Slight bow of the head. Take a moment, honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you. Hope you had a good practice. That was a tough one, a lot of oblique work. And we played with some difficult, challenging poses that you just sort of tinker with and see how far you get. So no big deal if you went all the way into them or not. That's why it's a practice. All right. See you next time.